everyone, and welcome to today's Career Crush Q&A. I'm Emily Aries, the founder and CEO of Bossed Up, and I'm so excited that you're joining us today. We have a really special guest, my friend and a total rock star, helping women gain equal access to capital in the startup space, a topic I know that so many of you side hustlers and entrepreneurs and startup women are all about these days. Named Anna Consani, who's joining us right now from Washington, D.C. I'm actually out of my office today, so I'm tuning in from Baltimore. But we are so excited to have you, Anna. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I know we've been wanting to do this for a while.
Forever, yes. But both have busy schedules, and I'm so glad we could finally pin you down and pencil you in. A few reminders for those who are tuning in. You are welcome to tweet at us throughout the broadcast. You can use the hashtag CareerCrush, and that actually is the same hashtag we use every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. So you can follow the thread there to find all sorts of comments and great insights from all of our Career Crush guests. You can also tweet directly at me at BossedUp.org and at Anna at AConsani1231. And if you're tuning in on YouTube well after we've gone live, that's okay. We continue this conversation on Twitter well beyond our live broadcast. So Anna, thanks so much for being here again. Tell us a little bit about what it means to be the Director of Community and Partnership at Springboard Enterprises, first of all.
Yeah, great. So a little recap on Springboard. So we run accelerator programs for women-led tech and healthcare startups. We've been around now for 15 years and have 642 alumni portfolio companies. So that consists of all companies that have been through our programs, who we now stay in touch with, track, bring new opportunities and visibility to. And so as Director of Community and Partnerships, my role is really to take them on as part of the community post-program and really bring them into the Springboard network of experts, influencers, innovators. And so that is what I do. And really bringing other organizations into us. We work with corporate partners, investors, other accelerators to just kind of beef up that ecosystem.
Great. I love it. And I love hearing that there are startup accelerators out there like Springboard Enterprises that are focused on closing the gender gap, right, between access to capital. So before we dive into your crazy, awesome career trajectory, which I know our audience is going to be really interested in, tell me more about, like, why do you think that an organization like Springboard needs to exist today? Yeah, let's start there.
Sure, good question. So Springboard started in a very interesting landscape back in 2000 when I think women-led companies were really deciding between, getting bank loans, how do I start a business without using all of my money? And so there was this shift from bank loans and other means of capital to, if I'm going to start something that's actually really scalable, I need venture capital money, I need investors, I need people to buy into what I'm doing and really believe in me. And so we saw that as a problem and took advantage of getting these women in a room with these stakeholders, having them present their companies, and then, hopefully get funded. And so that's kind of how it started, as these regional-based forums, which now we've built into more of a 3 to 4 month virtual program where we get introduced to them, they get introduced to us, they get to know our network, we see what their challenges are, how we can help them, and what people we can surround them with. It's still a problem. So it's both on the entrepreneur gaining access side, but also on the investor and the corporate executive side. We need more women in those positions, because those decision makers that are, giving out the money need to understand what the opportunities are that are out there. Right. And actually, one of our entrepreneurs wrote an Inc.com piece recently that it debunked the fact that people still think women's health is a niche issue. That it's oh, that's women's health, that's for this niche population. It's like, hello, it's 50% of the population, that's health for half of the world. I think there's a market there. And so it's those shifts that we're seeing, but that still need to be advocated for. We like to say we're all of our entrepreneurs, star agents, right? We're out there to get them that visibility and help them make those deals.
I love it. And it's amazing because the amount of not just access to capital and expertise and support, but the community that you've really built amongst your cohort. I saw this on display myself when I attended and got up there and pitched at what you guys call a Dolphin Tank, right? Which I love. For anyone out there who's seen Shark Tank, you might be familiar with kind of the hyper aggressive, brawl and sort of nerve-wracking endeavor that it can be to be a startup entrepreneur, to get up in front of these investors and pitch, only to sometimes be like shamed out of the room. And I love what Springboard Enterprises does, calling it a Dolphin Tank and making it, really lowering the bar for the amount of prep and practice and presentation allotted or required for startup entrepreneurs to get up, pitch, get feedback from actual investors and experts in a much more, friendly fashion. How would you describe that?
So what we also describe is it's not just to make entrepreneurs feel like roses and daisies and I'm doing okay, right, but here's some constructive criticism, but it's about crowdsourcing the expertise in the room so that building a company is a creative process. And so you want those insights from different perspectives. And that's why I love doing them here in DC. And actually, for any viewers out there not in the DC area, we do them all across the country. But specifically in DC, to get the private sector side, the public sector, consultants, everyone and their brother has some sort of unique expertise that's going to help you see things from a different angle. And you probably know too, getting those different perspectives as you're building Bossed Up has definitely helped, build it to be as successful as it is.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. And I love that that shift to focus on the public sector and private sector coming together, because I think it's such a good microcosm of your growth in your career thus far. You're a baby of the Silicon Valley, right? You're from Marin County. You're from just over the Golden Gate Bridge. And you studied, like me, political science as an undergrad, but you focused on international diplomacy, right? On bringing people together across cultures. And yet you found your way to the startup culture, not in your hometown, but not in Silicon Valley, but in Washington, D.C. So tell us how that happened and what were the key sort of choice moments that got you from an international relations focus to working to help women gain access to capital in the nation's capital and beyond.
Great. Well, I'll start with one point and then build up to it, in that I use diplomacy every single day in this position. And I also think that building a community of entrepreneurs that range not only from late 20s to mid 70s, every state in the country practically, you need some sort of idea of different culture, different perspectives, different people, and the leaders within each of those. And so culminating to that, I'll start by saying that yes, from the Bay Area, studied politics, international relations at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and was really on this trajectory of wanting to live abroad, learn Spanish, South America. Was really interested in different cultures. I had traveled the world and decided that when an email popped into my inbox asking if I wanted to apply for an internship on Capitol Hill through the Panetta Institute, that I'd look into it, because it seemed very unique and something where completely kind of out of my comfort zone. And when you're getting to be a senior in college and you're like, I know everyone, I
know everything.
I know everything. I'm in my groups. I know what I'm going to do. I'm solid in my major. And this was like, whoa, this is Washington, D.C. I had gone to a leadership conference actually there when I was 15, changed my entire life, is like why I wanted to go into politics. So I was like, hey, why not go back to the scene of the crime, do something that is a little bit different, but that will challenge me. And so I thought I couldn't graduate with a political science degree without having some understanding of Washington, having only studied international. And so took advantage of that opportunity, applied for this one student kind of opportunity to go there, all expenses paid by the Panetta Institute, and was selected. And so instead of studying abroad, went to DC for a semester.
Amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. I love that this choice that you made to see this as something that would push you outside of your comfort zone in a growth manner is just so indicative of how far a healthy growth mindset can really get you, right? Looking at opportunities for learning, not as posing a risk to your ability to perfect and perform and please, but instead seeing that as a learning opportunity. Completely sounds like it changed the trajectory of your career thus far. Knowing that, you know, the international communities that you want to explore are still going to be there too, right?
Exactly. And it was one of the biggest drivers too, that I think, I guess, jumping ahead to after my 3 months in DC was I learned that there are so many people from all over the country going to this city for many different reasons, but it's such a conglomeration of those different perspectives that I wanted to learn so much about. And I think challenging yourself so often comes from just getting people that are so different from you sitting in a room and learning from them, because that in turn helps you learn about yourself.
It's a good case for diversity, right? I love it. So you came to DC, and like me, right, I started in politics and campaigning with President Obama's team passing health reform. You came looking for opportunities to advance women already. That was sort of at the heart of your calling and purpose and passion. So how did it feel to take those skills that you'd really grown and developed as a student and in your internships and in everything leading up to this job, and apply it to an environment that was the startup world, right? The capital world. How did that happen exactly?
Yeah, so a couple things. One, interning on the Hill definitely gives you a perspective on very, very fast-paced environments and doing things very quickly. Two, I interned for a congresswoman and really wanted to, that's really where my shift came in saying, hey, there's only 18% of, representatives that are women. This is not okay. I had many people around me saying the same thing. And that's when those thoughts first got into my head of like, what can I do as a woman myself, as a leader, as someone that has had a very strong woman role model, as a mother and who is an entrepreneur? What can I do to help? And so looking for positions that helped women get elected to public office kind of led me to this organization, Springboard, that helps women gain access to capital. So just on a private sector base, more or less. But so much of it carried over. And I think I see that now more and more of those in the startup world wanting to affect politics, and those that have been in the public sector, wanting to affect more change and maybe quicker by going the startup route. And seeing that perspective, I think was really helpful. Having both sides, whether you want to go business and corporate or startup, or whether you want to run for office one day, having both sides of it, I kind of put those two things together. Like, you can't have one without the other, especially in California, where I'm from, with Silicon Valley, with California's government as it is. They are like interchangeable. So it really helped. And I think all the skills that I had built up through my, organization, events, really working with people, sales even, all of that came together and has really helped.
That's great. So I want to ask you about challenges and challenge moments along the way and some lessons learned. We're in the midst of our Pregame Your Career Change Challenge, right? It's week 2. We're helping women in our free online challenge get clear on the career that they want, right? Whether it's a new job or a promotion, or if it's excelling and developing skills in another way, and then positioning themselves strategically to get there. And that can be a really challenging and isolating process, just like it is to start your own company. Actually landing a job that you feel would be the right fit and would be a good growth opportunity. Were there challenges that you faced along the way in finding this fit with Springboard? And or if there are other challenges that you've sort of faced, we can cover that too. But I'm curious to hear if there are any lessons learned when it comes to especially adapting your resume or sort of positioning yourself and those skills that are transferable to say, listen, I haven't really done much in the startup space, but here's why you should hire me anyway. I'm curious about that story.
Yeah, no, that's a good example. I mean, you definitely, as we're all told, apply for the position that you want and back it up with examples that will support what you're trying to go after.
Right.
Now, I think really what it all comes down to, and I see this too with people and interns and people that have come through Springboard even is, it's not necessarily about having all of the hard skills in the book. It's about problem solving. It's about your experiences doing so. And it's also about your attitude. And I think attitude means so much. Yeah. And I see that in people that have succeeded and haven't succeeded is their attitude toward both problem solving and just the environment at hand. And so if you can really think about how in this position, so I think about me now, how am I really building the skills that I want to hone, and how am I both, I guess, leaning on previous experiences as well as learning new ones.
Right.
Think about that before you even apply, right? So that you can jump in there and say, I have these skills, I have this problem solving ability. I think even saying that, most people skip that. It's like problem solving should be like number one on a resume, right? If you're a good problem solver, which hopefully all the bossed up ladies are. Yeah. But that means a lot, because there's always going to be challenges and fires to put out, and people want those to work around them that are going to come up with solutions and not kind of wager on going one way or the other. So it's kind of a long-winded answer, but thinking about not only the hard skills, but also all of the other characteristics, personality traits, other examples that you can bring to the table that bring those unique experiences into this story of who you are and who you want to become.
I love it. And being candid about what you don't know and what you want to learn more about, right? I think sometimes we feel like we have to say we have all the qualifications, all the requirements, 100%. We know everything. Just hire me and I'll figure it out, right? I almost love hearing when people are authentic about why they want the position, and like, what do you want to learn in this process? And how do your past experiences of learning new things reflect on your ability to figure it out, right? Like that attitude that anything can be figured out is going to help you from getting over roadblocks when they do appear. And so I want to go back to say, what roadblocks have you faced along the way? And I like, what are the challenges that you've run into?
Yeah, so working for a really small organization, there's only 6 full-time staff that run these national and international programs. It's wearing a lot of hats, and it's very different from a corporate position or some other government positions in that, yes, my title is community and partnerships, but I could be, getting a panel of VIP speakers from the healthcare and life sciences space to come to an event in 3 weeks, right? I could be running a Dolphin Tank out of Long Beach, no connections in Long Beach. How do I get 50 people there?
Right.
So it's those sorts of things that come up, and it's like, okay, what do I know? What do I don't know? What are my resources that I'm going to use to solve these problems?
Right.
And how do I get past it? So I think some of the challenges is just learning how to balance all of those hats, when to switch them, what to prioritize. I mean, the word prioritize is just like
huge.
I don't even like it anymore, because it's like, well, there's so many priorities. I don't know. But it does take looking at the bigger picture while also knowing what you're good at. And that's something that I've learned coming to lessons along the way is you want to be good at everything. You want to say you're good at everything, but learning what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing, what you should pass to a colleague, even when there are 101 things to do, maybe that 101st thing is something that someone else is better at, and it can be taken off your plate. And I think that's something else that I've just personality-wise, I take on a lot, I want to do a lot, but picking and choosing based on what you're best at then gives you enough energy to put that time and effort into those things that you are good at.
Right. This is so indicative of the sort of political world and the campaign environment, and really the DC workaholic syndrome, right? Like, I feel like the martyrdom mindset is so strong amongst people who do feel passionately about their careers. And I know that not everybody watching is in that boat, right? We have some people who are like, I am so bored at my job every day, I'm looking to make a change. And then there are folks who are like, I'm passionate about my job, but I think it might be killing me. So have you found any strategies that really help you? Here at Bossed Up, we say that work, love, wellness, they're connected. Like, I burnt out in politics in about 3 years, not because of politics, not because I didn't love the work I was doing, but because I had to learn the hard way that my personal sustainability matters to my professional longevity. And so have you found any, like, if you get this like rock star intern who is ready to, you know, to work 100-hour weeks, no questions asked for the next 3 years of her life, what advice would you give to her, or what strategies have you discovered that you would advise others on, or just has worked for you in making sure you're not burning out?
So there's some things I think in the office and outside of the office. I mean, in the office, I have a sense of humor. I make jokes, right? Like I make the office laugh because, as do my colleagues to me, because when you're in that high stress environment, like someone just needs to break the ice and make a joke about, you know, the coffee maker being broken. Like someone just needs to do that. And then it's like this, you can just take that deep breath that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So I think putting things in perspective and having that sense of humor can help enormously relieve any sort of stress or tension.
And it goes back to what you said about attitude too. People want to work with people with that kind of an attitude. And that's
exactly. And positivity. And I have to throw that in there because I worked with, I mean, just throughout my whole career and growing up, I mean, you get to know very quickly how you are influenced by either positive or negative people. And so you're built up by positivity, you're built down by negativity. I mean, we all know this, but actually feeling it firsthand is kind of crazy for the first time, that like, wow, someone else or something can really affect me in that way. And so trying to get those around you to be as positive as possible is also one of the best things you can do, because then if their kind of thing is, oh, wow, I'm much more mindful of when I'm being negative versus positive, then that's going to help you in return. And then just outside the office, working out. Honestly, if I did, waking up every day to work out is what I get up for. And that's not to say I don't get up for my work. I love what I do. But waking up saying, I am dedicating this hour to me, and I'm taking care of my body, and then I get to go in and use my mind and work and talk to people all day that I love, then fantastic. But that changes a lot, being able to have that.
Totally. I agree completely. And having gone from being an athlete in college to ignoring that whole part of my life for the first 3 years out of school, I can attest to the power of like mental strength comes with physical strength too. And it's not to work out for vanity. It's just for sanity, right? It's like for your own brain's sake. That's fantastic. Well, I love it, Anna. Well, this has been so illuminating. I'm so proud of the work you've been doing. I'm curious to hear from you, like the mission that Springboard really pursues in how you accelerate businesses and how you build communities amongst female entrepreneurs, how you champion them, how you connect them with capital. What are some of the most common needs or challenges that you hear from your community, and how do you see women entrepreneurs really succeeding? Like, what are some of those magic ingredients to the entrepreneurs who are watching today, who want to know, what should I be doing to really ensure my company's long-term success, especially as a woman entrepreneur?
Yeah, so one exercise that we do in one of our programs, or part of it, is we don't only pitch the company or have them practice pitch the company, they pitch themselves.
Right. Yeah.
Very important. And there's big changes between the first time we hear them pitch themselves and the last.
Yeah.
And so I think learning how to pitch yourself is super important. Not just the company that you're building right here, right now, but they could be building a fantastic company. But if you're not going to be able to tell us that you went to Harvard Business School, like ran a different business, got all these different awards, then like, what's the point? Like, tell us this stuff. So that's huge. Not being afraid of talking about yourself. I think doing those pitch practices, knowing how to message your business case. I mean, that holds back a lot of people, where if people are saying they just don't get it, then you need to reframe the message. You need to get into their shoes and say, what are they thinking right now? And how can I message it so that they get it?
Right.
And that, going through plenty of Dolphin Tanks, I've heard it all in terms of how people try and message their company. And some people do it beautifully, and some people just need that perspective to say, hey, I totally get it if you would just shape it a different way. Right. And then joining those networks, those communities, making contacts for people that can introduce you to the right people is key.
Huge.
And that's why, we're a human capital network. We connect you to those right experts and influencers, and then also to give back so that we all are experts in something. Yep. And that's something that we tell our entrepreneurs, and that they understand. They are all thought leaders. And so that's important to know as an entrepreneur, that you are a thought leader, you are an expert. And so you have that leverage.
I love it. And it's so amazing to me just hearing you in this last answer, the similarities between job seekers and startup entrepreneurs, right? The ecosystem of your career, I think, is rapidly changing. So everyone's career now comes with a suite of options: full-time job, part-time jobs, full-time jobs with a side hustle, starting, entrepreneurship world, because the barrier to entries have dropped with the access of technology that helps us, find business models, right? Create value for people. And then there are points in time when your career can become a business, right? You can make that choice as an individual at any point in time. And to me, being able to sell yourself is not only critical for those startup entrepreneurs, but also for any job seeker. And yet it is especially hard as women, because we've been conditioned our entire lives not to brag. And it doesn't sound like bragging as a woman isn't always as well received as bragging as a man, right? It sounds different. Perceptions aren't fair because of unconscious biases that we all carry. So really creating safe spaces like the Dolphin Tank experience, or like Bossed Up Bootcamp, or whatever space you can go to with a community of women who are ready and willing to let you be seen for who you really are and figure out that process without being perfect the first time. It's so critical, because the public narrative, the way you tell your story, as a way to inspire others to act, whether it's to invest in your business or to hire you or what have you, is so critical. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and knowing your numbers too. I'll just spew off a few more things. Know your numbers, know your market, know that it's a pain point for someone, and tell us that pain point and why it's a pain point. All of those crucial points that just help better get across, why we should be paying attention. But, our programs have produced some pretty amazing women. ClassPass, Payal, Zipcar, iRobot, Constant Contact. All these women went through our programs and have done amazing things and even greater. So it's been amazing watching them and having them be a part of Springboard. And so we're hoping that we have more women like them that are going through our programs every year. And it's good to watch and learn.
Where can people find out more, and anything else that you think you should share too? So where can we go to find out more about Springboard and you, and is there anything else that we should know today?
Yeah, so Springboard, it's really easy. It's sb.co, sb.co. That's all of our information, programs, events. There's a Dolphin Tank page, so you know when those are coming up. My email is just anna@sb.co, ANNA. And you can contact me about Dolphin Tank, our programs, but look us up, check us out. And if you have any questions about transitioning to the startup world or running programs for entrepreneurs, I was not in the business world before this, but you really take on day by day and learn day by day, and you just accumulate all this new knowledge. And hearing those around me on the phone helps me. Going to these events and hearing entrepreneurs pitch helps me, and you just absorb everything like a sponge, as we all should be doing. And using that to your benefit to succeed.
So awesome, Anna. Thank you so much for sharing. I love that I can call you a friend, and that our sort of cadre of boss women, not just in DC, in the Bossed Up community, like you, are just so inspiring to me, and I know to lots of others out there. So for those of you tuning in, we will keep in touch. I'm going to be tweeting out some of Anna's brilliant words of wisdom just now over Twitter, and I'll be using that hashtag Career Crush so we can keep in touch. And I look forward to seeing y'all back here again soon, and you soon too, Anna.
Sounds great.
Thanks again, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.